Welcome. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Thank you all for being here today. I really appreciate your support. I appreciate that you guys show up here. Thank you. Um, it really means a lot because that means that you guys are, the messages are resonating with you. And, continue to be here and share the channel so that other people can show up as well. It's important that we get as many people as possible to show up on a platform to listen to the messages that are being said here on this channel, because there's a lot of grief, there's a lot of pain in this world, there's a lot of people who resonate with what I'm talking about here, but they just don't know how to get through it. So what I do here is share how I'm getting through it. Um, Excuse me, because it's not easy, and it's important to have people who understand, who's someone who's gone through the same kind of grief and pain, and who can resonate with you. It makes the journey easier when you have someone who understands. So thank you for being here today. It's Tuesday. I heard something about snow. Hopefully not, but it's looking a little weird outside. The temperature has dropped as well. But anyway, thank God we all are here. And the topic of discussion today is when you lose a loved one. But before we get into the topic of discussion, I have a little story here. So my printer that I use, because I do a lot of work at home. I mean, I do work outside of my home, but then in between my break, like now, I work, um, my other work that I do. And my printer died on me. So I had to go and get another one. So I love sales. I look for that. And if I can find a sale and I don't have to pay full price, I'm happy for the rest of the week, kind of energy. So I found a sale on a printer, really good sale, and I was so happy, skipping, hopping, etc. I get home, hook it up, etc. Right, my modem is not in my bedroom. So when I hooked up the computer to the laptop, what happened is it's not printing. And I do a lot of, typing and stuff, and can't print out. So as I played around with it for 2 hours, which I wasn't happy about that, because then the work that I was supposed to be doing gets delayed because of it. So to end the story, what happened is that the printer cannot print in the bedroom unless the modem is in here. And it's kind of difficult to put the modem in here because the technician who set up the modem out in a living room, it has like 1,000 plugins, and I'm just not going to deal with that. So what I had to do is put the printer out there, and whenever I need to print something, or like type something, I type it up and then go and connect the laptop to the printer out there and then wait till everything print out. It's really aggravating. But if I call the technician to come and set it up, I know he's only going to be here for 5 minutes, and then I got to pay $75 for his visit, which I refuse to, because then the deal I got isn't a deal at all, right? So it's like, so that's what I'm doing, printing out there, coming in here. It's just really irritating. And I got to try to, at some point, figure this all out. Seems like whenever I get any new gadgets it's like it's always some kind of technology problem. Even when I sit down sometimes to watch TV, cable, and sometimes what happened, a box will automatically just start recalculating, you know, and I'm like, what are you doing? Or updating or whatever it's doing. Then I got to go and play with it and get it back to where it was. And then if it do it too much, then I got to call the cable company and talk to an automated system until somebody comes on. It's really irritating. So those are the kind of stuff that things that happen with me. But anyway, it works. So what else can I say? So I hope you guys are having a good day. I have some notes here. Um, yeah, so yeah, I love sales. I love finding sales on everything, whether it's electronics, clothes. I don't really wear a lot of makeup. It's just things in general that I like. And if I find sales on it, I'm happy for the rest of the week. And just giving you guys a little bit about me. I My favorite entertainer artist is Janet Jackson. Love Janet Jackson from the time, I was a kid up until now. Love her music, love her style, all of it. So yeah, and I love bowling. If I can go bowling more often, I would love going bowling. You know, um, just fun stuff. Doing things. I love music, mostly from the '70s and '80s type of music. However, I love some of the country music they got that I've listened to now. So I like, and learning new stuff. Always try to keep myself busy, because I have moments of grief, trigger moments of grief. And, last night I had one, and it comes unexpectedly. My therapist and I talk a lot now. He talks to me about relationships and, trying to get out or whatever. And I am transforming people. I am not the same person that I used to be. And one of the things about that is that I take my time now with everything that I do. And one last night, I guess I kind of figure out why I was having that moment, the trigger moment of grief where I was crying. And, I was really, really missing my mother, because my mother used to tell me, when I was younger, get your affairs in order. And what she meant, I was a responsible person, but like sometimes if something needs to be paid at a certain time or whatever, I always had, not always, but yeah, a lot of times in the past, the attitude, I can't be bothered. Like if something breaks down, leave it. I can't be bothered kind of attitude. And and my mother used to talk to me about this, and certain things that I should do. So because if you do A, then B is going to pay off, and etc. And I wouldn't really. I heard what she said, but it would be like the Charlie Brown cartoon, where you can hear the adults, but you don't know what they're saying as Charlie Brown and the rest of them move around. And that's what it was. I heard her, but I just couldn't be bothered kind of attitude. And during 2020, my life changed. My mother passed away. It was a domino effect in 2020 up until late 2021. A domino effect of people dying who are a part of my life. My mother, one of my good friends, a cousin. It just kept going on and on, death after death after death. And after my mother passed, the other people who died were not that, they were younger, a lot younger. And it's like, what's happening? And they were not sick or anything, just dropping dead. And it was just horrific. And people, let me tell you, that changed my life forever. Forever, it changed me, because just after learning of one death, and we really couldn't go to funerals because we were in a shutdown. So we were having a lot of these memorial services on Zoom, on live, live on Zoom. And it was just going to funeral after funeral after funeral. And it was just, oh my God, I can't tell you the overwhelming amount of pain. Let me tell you something. Losing a parent or a child is one of the most devastating things that could happen. And especially when both your parents go. First, my father went, and then my mother, which was even worse, because I used to talk to my mother about certain things, and she would just tell me do this and do that, because as I started to try to be more responsible with certain things, I would ask her advice, and just having those conversations with her. Even though our relationship wasn't perfect, she still was my mother, and I did talk with her weekly. And she would give me advice on things, and I don't have that anymore. And it just, and the way it happened, all these deaths, and it just really made me look at my own life, and it transformed me into this other person. As I said in prior videos, I was subservient to everything, didn't care about much of whatever, would just hang on to relationships even though I knew it was toxic. Oh, I had somebody kind of attitude, whatever. Um, but learning after my mom passed away, I was in something while dating someone. I just ended it. I couldn't handle anything anymore at that point. And then it was death after death after death. And it was just, I was in a corner, just balled up, curled up with pain and crying and asking God, what's going on? What's happening? And let me tell you, after 2021 is when I really started to get my shit together, And when I say that respectfully, because I am today not the person I was back then, you know. And one of the things I was allowing is people to take advantage, do any and everything, because I don't like to argue. I like everything to be perfect. And then, well, we don't live in a perfect world. People's not perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. And I had to learn to change all of that. My whole life, now we're in 2024, has transformed, to the point where I don't even know who the old Lisa is anymore, because I'm no longer that person. So that's why when I get on this channel and I talk about people from the past trying to come back, I don't resonate with those individuals anymore. And one of the things that I could say about all of that is that when I was in the lives of these people, it doesn't matter if it was a business setting, um, a family relationship, or friendship. I went above and beyond with people. I'm not perfect, but I would give my all to whatever the situation was, giving my all to it. And some people didn't appreciate that. They played with it, toyed with it, whatever. And then one day it ended. And when something ends, and when some people want to reconcile, what I say to them, there's nothing to reconcile, because I've given my all to the situation, whatever the situation was. And there's nothing to reconcile because I gave my all to it. There's nothing left for me to give to the situation. And today, I am not the same individual. I am not the same Lisa that's going to put up with what I put up with back then. I have transformed people to a person that I'm going to tell you how I feel. I don't have to be, um, how do you say it? I don't have to be mean about it, hateful, or any of that. I just have to be firm and let people know I'm just not going to put up with what I put up with before. I've lost too much. And I'm saying all of this respectfully because grief will change your life forever. Losing 10, 11 people at one time, like a domino effect, will change your life forever. Even just losing a parent, God forbid a child, will change your life forever. And sometimes people who they don't seem to understand that. And I pray that they don't have to understand it, because it is the most excruciating pain. It's worse than anything just about that I've had to deal with. And I still have those trigger moments of grief. Last night I was working on something, and I wanted to talk to my mother about something, because everything that she was telling me to do when she was here, people, believe me, my pain ran so deep, and my um, transformation happened to the point where it took me 9 months to clean up everything in my life. 9 months. I wasn't playing about this healing. Everything that I had that was outstanding, that need to be paid or done or whatever, I cleaned up everything with the help of God, and it's a miracle in 9 months. And people were like, oh, this is impossible. And I'm not going to get into the details of it. That's impossible. No, that means I worked around the clock to get a lot of things done. And I wanted to say, Mom, I did it. What you said was right. I should have been doing this the whole time. She's no longer here to tell me, for me to have that conversation with, and it took this and all these steps for me to transform my life, for me to love myself, for me to know that I am worth it. It took this for me to get to this point. So there's no going back to the past. There's no revisiting the past, because I have left the past where it is. I'm no longer that same person. Let's say, for example, okay, let's try to reconcile. There's nothing to reconcile. I am not that same Lisa Vaughn that people knew back in the day. That subservient person, that person who's going to go above and beyond to make all your needs and dreams come true. That's not me. I don't even resonate with that old Lisa before all of this stuff happened. Death, grief, these things will change your life forever. And I say what I mean and mean what I say. Whereas before, I would be afraid to say certain things. It might hurt somebody's feeling. It might make him or her feel some kind of way. I better tread carefully, etc. No, I'm going to say, because I'm not going to sit with resentment or being uncomfortable or doing something that I truly don't want or believe in, just to benefit somebody else. And that's how I was living my life. And this is why things were in a disarray the way it was. Not that I was, like, when I say disarray, it just, I wasn't, my needs were not being met. Maybe that's the way I need to say that. My needs were not being met. So, but everybody around me, I'm trying to fulfill their needs. And that's not how this goes. And so I had to learn, because when we don't learn lessons, we repeat them. They come back around like the wheel spin again. That lesson is going to come back, and it's going to be harder the next time around. It may not come in the same shape, form that it was here before, but it's definitely going to spin around again. And I spun around and around and around on some of these lessons. I didn't learn them. But this was hard, because, like I said, all these people leaving here at one time the way it did. I was able to go to one funeral that happened of one of my friends who was just a few years older than me and passed away. And it was really devastating, because we were supposed to get together 2 days, after I found out she had passed away. Just, hanging out, and we were, we both volunteered at the church. And it was I was like, she can't be gone. We were supposed to get together, and it was just horrific. It was just too much, because by the time she had passed away, 4 other people had passed away. And it was just like an endless thing, And so I said all of this to say that grief will change you. And the trigger moments is no joke. Having the trigger moments of grief is no joke. Like the one I had last night. Excuse me. I haven't had one like that in a while, because I really, really wanted to talk to my mother and say, Ma, I accomplished these things in 9 months, and I worked very hard to get these things done. And the fact that the transformation is like, I don't even recognize the old Lisa anymore, because I've changed in so many ways. The things that people thought they could do to me back then, there's no way that that shit is going to happen today, because I'm not that same person. I don't even know how to explain it to you guys. When you go through something like this, it's like a whole transformation of something happened in my life. And, the things that people did before and thought I was dumber than a rock or whatever, I was never dumb. I just allow people to do certain things because, hey, if they, I can help change things for the better. No, I can't. A person has to want to change for the better. No matter what you do, if they don't want to change, they're going to stay the same. You have to have that desire. I had to learn to change the way I do things, especially when it comes to interacting with other people. And I had to say what I mean, and what I feel, instead of just, harboring a resentment. And it took a lot for me to get there. And with therapy, doing work with my therapist. And as I was saying before all of that, he talks to me now about relationships and things. And, and I say to him that one of the things that I you know, have is these trigger moments. And they're not good, like last night. And what I have to do is calm down, because I'm just having a crying spell, because I really want to talk to my mother. And it got to the point I almost forgot she wasn't here, because there was something going on, not something good, and I want to talk to her about it because of something she said to me before she passed away. And I did it, and it turned out, you know, in a way that it was like, wow, I want to talk to her. And I just said, oh God, she's not here. And it just, then a trigger moment of grief happened. Put on some music. I tried, what I do a lot, people, I love the Waltons. So, and I record them. Like when I'm at work, I record them, and then I'll just sit and watch an episode or something, put on music, do something different. And it was much harder last night because it was just, I can't even describe it unless you've gone through it. But finding ways to get through it. Because, like I said, losing a parent, and especially both your parents are gone, it doesn't feel the same. It changes your life. And, my therapist talks to me about it. We have the conversation. He'll ask me how I felt and, what did I do differently. He tells me to write stuff down, you know, and then we talk about it. So, one of the things I did is just, I drink chamomile tea because it helps me when I feel the trigger moments and stuff. It's also, it's not, it's only, it makes you sleepy. So I take it at night because it calms you down and stuff. But I worry about that when it comes to just in general dating and, getting into a relationship with someone, and I have these moments of trigger, and if someone would understand that, because at times, I have control over it, and like last night, and it has to be something in particular to make it get to that point, and it just happens from time to time. But like I told my therapist, what I'm more interested in right now is having a pet, because I had my dog Rocky, who was a pug, for a long time, and I took the dog everywhere with me. My son used to be so jealous of the dog. I don't know why, but Rocky was a good dog. He was really the best. And I miss him a lot. He died during the shutdown, and it was devastating, you know. And I would love to have another dog. That's what I'm interested in more than anything right now. Um, so my goal right now is that, and to just live my life to the fullest, and to know that my mother, my parents, both my mother and father, would never want me to stay in a place of grief. And people, this is another reason why I had to change my life, because I had people around me who didn't understand, you know, like they had an attitude of dismissiveness. Like if I was going through something, oh, you should be over that now. It's been a few years. You never get over that. You're talking about people who you really love and who meant a lot to your life, especially parents, friends. a spouse, etc., a child. And when someone was dismissive about it, I cut them off, because to me that's somebody I don't resonate with. I don't want, because if someone can say something and be that way, I don't want to be around people like that. So I changed my life in so many ways. I've changed everything. I eat better, taking care of my health, taking care of myself. Healing brings about self-love. And when you start to self-love, you start to see things from a different mindset, a different perspective. And that's what helped me the most to transform my life, is seeing things from a different perspective, and not in a pessimistic way, but in an optimistic way, and knowing that I am worth it. And this is what I want to give to you guys, to encourage those to get on a path to heal. Whatever it takes, like the things that make you feel good. Like when I say that, I mean things like music, a pet, things that's going to help you to heal, investing in you instead of everybody else, because your mental and physical health means everything. And you have to take care of yourself, especially after going through losses and traumatic experiences. You can't just put that on a shelf and forget about it, because it will stagnate your growth, and your mental and physical health. So you have to take care of that and find ways to do that. Another thing that I did during the shutdown is I wrote my third book. I would light some candles, have a glass of wine, have music on, and just write, write, write. And then, after writing a little bit, I go and cry a lot over the losses. And then I may not write for a day or two, then I get right back on it. The key factor is, when it comes to your healing, do not give up on yourself. You have to invest in you. And if you don't love you, how do you expect anybody else to? It's important to take care of every aspect of your life so that you can grow, elevate, and heal. It's so important, and it's not you being selfish. No, it's you being responsible to invest in yourself and take care of you. It's so important. This is why I come on this channel, to encourage everyone. I'm not a therapist or social work. I don't have a degree in that category, but I'm here to encourage people, because these are the things that's working for me, and I have my moments of grief, like I just described last night, and I haven't had a moment in a very long time. But it is to be expected, because I don't have my parents anymore, and I've lost a lot. So, but I'm learning, and I'm learning ways and new ways, all the time, on how to take care of myself, and that's important as well. People, when you get up in the morning, thank God for another day, and look in the mirror and tell yourself, I am worth it. And write down what you want to do for yourself, how you want to invest in your healing, and it's going to help you. You're going to have days that you don't feel like doing anything, but the next day get right back on a bandwagon, because your healing, your health, everything, all of that means everything, because without that, you're no good to yourself or anyone else. So that's the message today, people. And more importantly, please, whatever state that you live in, connect with a therapist, a grief therapist, so that you can get on the bandwagon of getting help, to heal yourself and to start the process, and Google a therapist, and Google for a grief bereavement group in your area, and then connect with people who have gone through grief just the way you're going through it, because you're going to hear some information that you can apply in your own life to help yourself, so that you can grow and not stay stagnated. Throughout this process, what I can tell you guys is, I learned to turn that pain into power, power into purpose, purpose into paying it forward to help others through my stories, on how I've gotten better and gotten through it. You never get over grief, but you can get through it. You don't have to stay in a place of stagnation. These things are the key factor. So let's keep having this conversation, and I will be back tomorrow Please hit the subscribe button so you know when I'm here. You'll get a notification that I'm on, because I can't give an exact time. And share these videos with other people, especially people who are suffering, because not everybody come out and talk about their pain related to grief. Share these videos so that they can get the message. Let's keep this going. You know, we all need help, and there's no shame to that. Thank you again for being here. This is Lisa, always uplifting, encouraging you, and shedding love and light. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.